Hello and welcome to Breakfast Club. This is the live pre-game week deadline stream from fantasyfootballscout.co.uk and joining me is David and Granville to go through game week 4 sides. David, welcome.
Yeah, welcome guys. How you doing?
I'm very, very good, and now you're keeping it brief because we have a special welcome for Granville. So Granville, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. We catch you a rare treat here, getting you live broadcasting. But this is a special time to get you as well, because not just are you going to reveal your game week 4 side, you're actually going to be revealing your wildcard side, which is quite exciting. So I don't know. Before we go into that, I'll just explain a bit more what this is. This is kind of catching us what we do usually on a Saturday morning just before the deadline, where we're in a bit of a panic about our team and a bit worried about where to put players and stuff, or maybe we just wildcarded. So we're going to do that at 11:30. One of us hopefully will better reveal the midday team sheets. So we'll look on at that, and then after that, we're going to have a look at another wildcard team, Mark's wildcard team. He wildcarded last week, and I understand that Granville's got a few things to say about that. So Granville, let's have a look at your game week 4 team. So there might be some changes here, but you did say that there's a good core of players that you would definitely be there. So why did you? Let's just take it through. Why did you wildcard? What was wrong with your other team? Because you're doing really well. You've just got sailed past me, moderators and contributors league.
Right.
Why'd you do it? And take us through that.
I've got to admit, firstly, it was a little bit ragey.
Ooh.
Because Saturday and Sunday I was actually behind, and I'd made a mistake in my transfer because I had 2 transfers last week, and I thought I'm going to get Alonso in because I need him and he's scoring points for fun, and I changed my mind and I got Pedro in instead. It was the same price, and I didn't need to spend 4 points because with Alonso I'd have had to downgrade De Gea and swap Jota. I'd already decided that Jota was on his way out because he was on his way down in price, and I think Wolves need a bit of time to acclimatise to the Premier League. So I plumped for Pedro in the end, and I was kicking myself because Pedro was taken off and Alonso was just scored points. And I thought at that point, why didn't I do that? And I was checking to see how I can reverse it, and it was going to cost me more points. And then it came to Sunday, and I wasn't doing very well because if you remember, I mean, did have a decent game week in the end, but that's only because Monday night I had Lucas Moura, and he grabbed me 15 points, which actually got me an above average score. But until that point, I was behind.
I mean, that's a real I was there moment though, having Lucas Moura, because people would go Lucas who. And you remember that guy got a mega score at Old Trafford, and you're one of the rare people.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I had a choice, because I took out De Gea. I knew on Monday night I had De Gea and Lucas Moura, and I don't like having 2 players from the opposing players in the same team, especially on a Monday night, because it just kind of ruins it a little bit. Unless both do well, but with a goalie, you're not. If you want someone to score against your goalie, then what else are you going to get out of your goalie other than maybe a penalty save or some saves? And also, I just figured that United are struggling at the back of the bit. They're struggling right throughout, but that it was a bad move getting De Gea in the first place. So I reversed that and I got in Foster. And I thought with United, I knew that Spurs will score. I knew that United were in bad shape, and that's why I left him in. And anyway, so in terms of my wild card, so it's a little bit ragey. So I did that, I think, on Sunday. I decided I was going to wild card, and the first thing I did was remove Pedro.
What?
And I don't know why. I think I went Pedro Mane, and I don't know why I did that. Because
but you got Alonso in, I presume, as well.
Oh yeah. And I was getting Alonso in. There was a few changes I made immediately, but one of them was Pedro out, and I thought, why did I do that? I just lost 0.1. I might still want him.
No.
And then I was looking for Hazard, and I thought, I can't afford Hazard. I don't really want him because he's too unreliable to captain, and I've also got Salah and Aguero. So in the end, initially I regretted it, but when you're on a wild card, I think it's really fun. You've got that whole week of messing about with players, and so I've kind of ended up with a core of 11 players that I knew that I wanted.
And Pedro stayed. So Pedro's part of that core.
Well, I got him back in, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because just before he was going up again, I thought, well, I might as well get him back in, and I'll get the half million, So I'm sort of 500,000 down on him at the minute, but never mind. It didn't really affect the team that I chose in the end. So it's just one of those things.
So take us through the 11 players, because I think a lot of people, either wildcarding this week or they want to consider wildcarding. So what are the 11 players there in that lineup that are just the key for you, total key to players?
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it's interesting because normally when I wildcard, I want to switch every player or most of the players. But this time I've actually left a lot of them in because they were performing and obviously I'm doing okay. So the ones that are nailed on are Mendy, Aguero, Salah, Lucas Moura, and Alonso, who are brought in. And then the others were Pedro decided I was definitely having, and then at the back, Wan-Bissaka, and up front, Mitrovic and Wilson. Although Mitrovic is, because of his price, I've been looking about, what I can do with that money. But Wilson was always going to stay. So looking at it, I was looking at who am I going to have. I had two. Initially, I was looking at, I've got Alexander Arnold, and I don't want to lose him because I think he's really good value, and I think he's been unlucky really that he hasn't scored for a start, and he's having shots. He's having more shots than Robertson. But I also got Robertson as well, so then I was considering, shall I go 4-4-2? Have Alexander Arnold and Robertson, but that's a little bit hedging your bets.
Also, Liverpool's fixtures are stiff,
and also Liverpool's fixtures aren't great, and so I've been messing about with loads of things, and in the end, I've gone with Gross in midfield, and
like that.
and well, you would do,
yeah,
and at the back, Doherty to compensate because I think I had Holebas and Pereira. I mean, Pereira was there. I thought about it a lot. He went up in price. I just had him in my side for a while because of the 0.1. And then I thought, I looked at Watford's fixtures, not great. Can I really rely on him? He's not playing. I know he's playing far forward, but he's not actually playing up front.
Did you consider Bennett at Wolves? Because you can save 0.4 there. He looks like he's starting. Yeah,
I know, and I did, but I think that Doherty is the attacking player. I mean, you look at his stats. I know he had that. I think he got sent off, didn't he? Or he got an own goal. But he's. I know last year because I remember watching him and the other. Who was the other fullback who Wolves had?
Oh, Barry Douglas.
Douglas, yeah. And both of them were quite attacking. And I thought, well, they go up. I want one of them. And they sold Douglas for some reason. I think he's gone to Leeds, hasn't he?
Do you know what? Right. About 3-4 weeks ago, I did a rate my team video with David, and he said Doherty. Watch out for him. He's playing an attacking role on the Wolves side. So there you go, David. Yeah. Nice tip there. Yeah. And Granville's listened 4 weeks later. Good. Yeah, no, good. Now, I noticed who's not in there. You haven't got Theo Walcott. This week, everyone's gone Theo Walcott mad. I just cannot believe. Suddenly Theo Walcott has been turned into some demigod of football because Richarlison's out. And everyone's going, it's the obvious move. Yeah. Richarlison's out, got to get... And it's just... I don't know. It just...
I think it's a bit of a trap, to be honest. I mean, I might be wrong, and he might do okay. But I've fallen for it before. I fell for it last season. I don't know if you... Well, of course you do remember because you didn't fall for it, and you let everybody know.
I know. But this time around, I think it's going to be Revenge of the Walcott.
I think it's nostalgia as well because he's been so good. In FPL, when he's playing up front with Van Persie and scoring points, and he was absolutely essential a couple of seasons ago. I think it was about 9 million. But with him, with his form, the way, I mean, the last season at Arsenal was terrible, and last season Everton wasn't particularly good. So what has changed? Maybe the manager, maybe the thing is that Richarlison isn't there to play with him, so will that affect his output? I don't know.
His potential is definitely going to go down if he hasn't got someone like Richarlison with him. Surely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. People are saying, oh, well, it's the obvious replacement. But I got Richarlison because he's Richarlison, not because he's an Everton winger. I got him in because he is the favoured golden boy of a manager in a team, and when he's gone, then Richarlison's gone. So my reaction there. So. I don't know. I like your wildcard. One thing I want to say about your wildcard, Granville, is that last year you did your wildcard and you pulled an absolute blinder because you went against the template, and then your wildcard team became the template, so everyone was playing catch up with you. which must have been a nice feeling. And I like the fact there that you've got a few players, like you've gone for Pedro and Gross over Walcott, who everyone's getting now. You've gone for Doherty over perhaps Bolly as well. And I don't know, I just think maybe you're onto something there.
And Silva as well, because I think with Silva, yeah. I think Silva is. I think he's gone under the radar because I know he scored that one free kick and he didn't start the first game, did he? But because KDB is missing, I think Pep. I mean, you can never second guess Pep, but I feel that he's going to need Silva for the experience and for the creativity.
I think Bernardo Silva is going to be dropped at some point, and David Silva's going to stay because while De Bruyne is out, they're going to need him. But I mean, moving on because we want to get just cram David and mine's teams in as well just before the lunchtime team sheet reveal. So just having a look at David's team here. Now, David, you've made a couple of changes. Who's out? Who's in?
Yeah, so David Silva was someone I looked at actually. I had the money, I could just get Bernardo Silva into David Silva, but. And I've been toying with Hazard all week as well, as people probably seen on Twitter. I didn't really want to get him in. I nearly did nothing. I nearly decided to roll my transfer, which I think I probably should have done. And then I just thought, screw it. Everybody's getting Alonso, so I'm going to go for it. And I kind of already regret it. I feel like I'm hungover from that decision already. I already regret getting him because I did it for a -4 as well. So I basically got rid of Tompkins, put in Alonso. I got rid of King and put in Deeney. So it was a bit of an impulse decision. But
Deeney's an unusual one because Watford's fixtures stiffen and you're getting him in for Tottenham. I'm presuming he's like just an enabler, really.
Effectively he's an enabler, but he's not terrible for me. And I actually looked ahead at the fixtures don't look like incredible, but Spurs have only got one clean sheet so far. Man United haven't got any. And great little statistic here. Troy Deeney has scored in every single one of his last 3 home matches against Man United, each time from the penalty spot.
Ooh,
so
okay, right. That's
so I'm hoping history's going to repeat itself. But really, it's all about getting Alonso.
Well, I know Jay, riding high in our Hall of Fame, his own videos and all things like that. He got Deeney in at the beginning of the season. Everyone's going, Deeney. And Deeney pops up with a goal and assist last week. So could be on to something there. So no Walcott as well. And here's my team.
That's right.
No Walcott either. So with 3 Walcottless people in amongst a sea of Walcotted. So I got rid of Luke Shaw. I'd kind of had enough of Manchester United. I think Luke Shaw will still play. I just think something's going on there. I don't want to have anything to do with them while they sort themselves out. Alonso's as near essential as possible. I wanted him in. And then I've been agonising all week over this kind of Walcott pressure and resisted. And Pedro was always the one I'd had my eye on. Yeah, I've just...
Can I just say, just before the deadlines are just about to happen in about a minute, I've got Mitrovic over Wilson in terms of benching, and I might regret that because Wilson last season against Chelsea away scored a goal and assist, and it's the only time that I benched him all the time I had him, and all the other games he just got me 2 points. So I'm preparing to be trolled by him.
Okay, well we so I mean I got Pedro in and for Richarlison obviously, and I've still got a bit in the bank. But I think you're right to play Mitrovic because I believe was it David or Neil put out an article earlier this week basically saying that it's a perfect matchup of set piece specialist and set piece concession.
That is right.
And Brighton concede a lot, and Mitrovic is just a set piece hogger. That's good. So what we're going to do, we've got a team sheets coming out shortly. We've only got a few more minutes to go, really.
I believe they come out in the next few seconds.
So whilst they come out, I'm just going to pop up Mark's wildcard team, so we can have a quick look at that, and then David, you can come in with the team sheet used in a moment. So Granville, what do we make of this? So this is Mark's wildcard team from Gameweek 3. So there's 2 things to notice here. One is that he was absolutely going for it in terms of getting Hazard and Mitrovic in an early draft, and then they made way for Sessegnon and Aubameyang. So he had Hazard and Mitrovic gone for those 2. And also I felt that he didn't really need to make those changes, and I did say that to him in his car. So what do you make of this then?
I think he's very Arsenal-centric. I mean, I didn't quite understand that. I mean, Aubameyang, until last week, I thought he was a good pick for last week, home to West Ham, and he's delivered nothing. He's also missed a couple of sitters. I mean, I've no doubt that his quality striker, but 11 million wanting to be delivering every single week. And that's why that was another reason why I play my wild card. Now he's a week behind, and he got him in.
It feels
and
like
that might be
man,
good. That might be good for him because he hasn't needed. He's sat through one blank. And Mkhitaryan, I'm not convinced by him at all. But I think his whole wild card was the reason why I did his wild card was simply because Aguero scored a hat trick, and he didn't have him, and he threw away everything. That at the beginning of the season, he was saying, "I'm going for 3 strikers." He was convinced that was the way to go because he's never going to. He doesn't want Aguero or Aubameyang because he's never going to captain him. He's going to captain Salah every single week. So it's taken him 2 weeks to change his mind, which is quite amusing. I wish he was on now because we have a go at him. But
we're gonna get him on.
He's okay. I mean, he got Wilson in, which is probably a good move, and I think that was it was probably one of the first people on his team sheet.
I worked out if he'd have done nothing, just played his game week 2 side, he'd got 51 points, and he got 51 points from this as well. Plus he'd have 2.
If he was on here now, what he'd say with that? He'd say, "Well, I've got all the players that I want in now, and they've all gone up in value, and he'll be making lots of probably valid reasons why."
Aubameyang's dropped in price. Richarlison's plummeting. So we haven't got long to go. So let's David, team sheets, please.
Yep, here we go. So we're going to start with Liverpool because that's what everyone wants to hear. Yeah. Jurgen Klopp says he's going to rotate. This is the team. So Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold at right back, Van Dijk and Gomez at centre back, Robertson at left back.
Hooray.
So that's good.
He's one of my players.
Then Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner in midfield. So it's Keita who drops out.
Ooh.
And then it's a front 3 of Salah, Firmino and Mane. So largely speaking, fantasy Premier League managers.
What about Leicester quickly? Any notable changes?
Leicester is Schmeichel, Pereira, Morgan, Maguire, Chilwell, Getsal, Ndidi, Mendy, Albrighton, Maddison and Gray. So there's no Iheanacho. He's on the bench. So, not too much to... I mean, Maguire's in there. He's highly owned. He's probably the main one.
He's the key
Pereira
player.
And Chilwell in defence.
Okay, so earlier this week, Klopp suggested there may be some rotation going on, but it sounds like there's a little bit of it here. Keita, so that's bad news if you play Sky because he's very popular in the Sky game because of the passing slick moves. But no, thanks a lot for that, Granville. Thanks a lot for popping in. That's been great. We'll get you on the show again, and David, thank you as well. So. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. Goodbye for now.